Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about what role does a product manager play in sprint planning meetings and what is expected out of them, most importantly. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. For those who do not know what a sprint planning meeting is, it is a collaborative meeting, a session which takes place with the team all together, wherein the product manager decides what needs to be worked upon next based on the priorities, and the team mutually agrees to that. It usually happens at the end of the sprint or end of one iteration cycle, so that it is a planning that we do for the next one that starts in maybe next day or a few days down the line. Now here are the 5 things that a product manager should definitely do in sprint planning. First, defining the product vision and priorities. Now, before even I get into the nitty-gritties of product backlog and sprint goal and all of that, I want to set the ground here on why it's really important for a product manager to set the product vision. They have already set the product vision before, but to explain that product vision and the strategy to the team as a whole collectively, and make sure that they understand it and what the priorities out of that product vision are. So this is a very important step that many product managers usually miss because they think it's not important. But I want to tell you, my peer product managers, it is really important for a product manager to make sure that the team understands why they are building what they are building, what is the vision behind this, what is the product strategy, what the priorities are, why these are the priorities, why are we not working on something else. So I think this is very important for a product manager to utilize this meeting to inform the development team that this is why we are working on this, and because this is what aligns with our product vision and the product strategy, and this is why this product vision actually exists. So I think it's really important for product manager to convey that information in words to the development team, so that you are working in a team wherein everybody is on the same page. You're not wondering, yeah, I'm just coding, like I don't need to care about how users are using it, I don't need to care about how business is making money out of it, I don't need to care about whether this makes the user happy or not. So that is a not good working culture in my opinion. You as a product manager have got to make sure that everybody on the team understands why the product is getting built, what's the reasoning behind that, and why are we doing it now. And if possible, I personally like to share my sprint plans. I personally create sprint plans for like 3-4 sprints ahead, and I share that whole document with them, saying, across these next 4 sprints, which is 2 months, we are going to be working on this first, then this, then this, then this, so that they know what the overall bigger picture is, and they are not just coding, they are understanding the context of what's getting built. So I think this is usually overlooked, but a very important aspect for a product manager to do while they are planning the sprints. Now the second step is obvious one from the first one, is presenting the product backlog. Now you have shown the development team presentations or documents or maybe customer feedback and your sprint plans, wonderful, but as long as it's not converted into user stories or tasks for the engineers to work on, it's of no use. So you've got to first of all break all that great stuff into user stories and tasks, put it on the product backlog, and show that product backlog to the team. Like, this is what my product backlog contains based on the sprint plan that has been laid out. It's ordered. Ideally, a product backlog should be ordered based on the priority. It is ordered based on the priority, and this is how we will proceed towards the product development. So that presenting of the product backlog, it encompasses a lot of different things. It's not just about putting those user stories and tasks in there which no one understands where they came from, but it needs to be ordered, and people need to know how it is prioritized and if it is prioritized or not. Some cases, let's be realistic, sometimes it's not prioritized, but then if product manager can inform that to the entire team, I think that would be great, because there are cases wherein maybe team finishes up early, or maybe team is blocked with some development work. So what do they do in that case? They go back to product backlog. If it is not prioritized, then they need to have that conversation with the product manager on what should be picked up next. But if it is prioritized, they can directly go in and pick up the top one from the list. So I think presenting of the product backlog is really important as well for a product manager to make sure that yes, they do own the product backlog and this is the current state it is in. Now point number 3 is collaboration with the development team. As I think I've been saying up until now, that it's not a team wherein product manager is saying, you need to work on this, and engineers don't even know why we are building it. It is a team effort. When it comes to sprint planning, it needs to be in collaboration. Like product manager cannot say that, I want these 10 stories to get done. Now do it however you want to do. Extend long hours or whatever you want to do. We need to get these 10 stories done. So that's not the way of working. When I say it needs to be collaborative, which means we need to understand the sprint capacity. How much can the team get done in one particular sprint? How many story points can they pick up in one particular sprint? You need to consider if anybody is on planned leaves. You need to consider XYZ factors. You need to consider if there is a dependency. You need to consider if there is a new person in the team, because their speed of working on a user story is going to be different from someone who's already working in a product. So all of these factors you need to consider, and you need to have that conversation with the development team before you say that a sprint planning is done. So that collaboration is going to be really important. Whatever everybody agrees to get done is what should be planned in the sprint. It should never be the case wherein you want X number of user stories to be done, but developers are saying it's not going to be possible and you still go ahead and start the sprint. No, very wrong. So you need to make sure it's a collaborative and a team effort. Now the fourth thing is a sprint goal, identifying the sprint goal. So that's also very important, because there should be like a 1 or a 2-liner sprint goal that you set for the team, so that they understand what needs to be accomplished by the end of the sprint. Let them pick up the work based on however they want to, but you as a product manager, you need to say, all right, in this next sprint, this is the goal that we want to achieve. These are the 6 user stories which needs to be done. Now just leave it up to them to pick up whatever they want to. You don't need to micromanage here. You've set the sprint goal. You've told what the priorities are. You've told these stories, let's get these done by the end of the sprint. Obviously, when everybody agrees, and then your work is done. Obviously, you are in other meetings, but you are not really assigning work to the engineers, or you are not really micromanaging them and questioning on everything they do in the order that they are doing. Your work is to set the sprint goal. So make sure that sprint goal is set and understood by everyone during the sprint planning meeting. Now the fifth step is finalizing the sprint goal and starting the sprint. At the sprint planning, the end result is that you start the sprint based on what everybody has agreed on. Seems obvious. So I think this 5-step approach is going to be really helpful for you as a product manager to build that relationship with a team that you can really work on in a collaborative fashion. Now what I would like you to do is go back and assess if are all these things what you're doing. Do let me know in the comments on what are other things that I might have missed but you do and has really worked well for you, or what are the things that you do not do currently but really is an eye-opener for you. Do let me know via comments. Otherwise, I'm going to see you all next week. Bye-bye.